Welcome, everybody, to One Stage at a Time, the podcast where we're playing through video games. You guessed it, one stage at a time, not skipping any damn level, no matter what it is, including bonus levels, which we are doing today in Doom, the secret bonus level of E3. I am Aaron Neeson. I am joined by my co-host, Andy Prim. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Aaron.
And we are joined once again by Sam Ingersoll.
Hello, Internet.
Hi, Sam. Thank you for being here, gentlemen. Let's talk about Doom.
Let's talk about Doom. It is the secret bonus level. Here's a little bonus stage, but don't tell anyone because it's a secret. This is the secret stage of episode 3 of Doom from 1993. The secret stage is it's numbered E3M9 because they go to the end for the numbers. We were at 6 last time, and now we're at 9. But anyway, this secret bonus level is called Warrens. So I'm going to be making a lot of references to famous people named Warren during the course of this episode. I probably won't be able to help myself. Let me hit you with some quick stats for the Warrens. It is, like I said, the 7th level consecutively, but it's numbered level 9. We exited from Mount Erebus to get here. It is uses the music Hiding the Secrets, which we've heard before. It's in most of the bonus stages. The part time is 2:15. It is designed by our hero, Sandy Peterson. There is only one secret officially in this stage, as the game numbers them. And in terms of enemies, we've got 34 sergeants, 10 specters, 18 imps, 5 demons, 11 cacodemons, 4 lost souls, 5 barons of hell, and that's right, folks, we've got a Cyberdemon. Fellas, what did we think of the Warrens?
I loved it. I loved it. This is my favorite Doom level. Not episode 3 level. This is my favorite classic Doom level so far. I loved everything about it. I even love the fact that I reloaded it multiple times because I was like, I swear to God, I've played this level before. I think I'm going crazy. It was really cool. That's why I've got the Matrix background because this is basically a glitch in the Matrix level. Mm-hmm. It's not the first level, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, yeah. So it basically, I loved everything about it.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool. But it was too much. It was too much. Yeah, I'm a man to speak to the manager. It's too much. This was insane. It was completely crazy, but it was a pretty fucking cool level. What about you, Andy?
Sam was like Neo from The Matrix. He just couldn't get enough of it. But Joe, you were like Joe Pantoliano. You just wanted to eat that steak and be in blissful ignorance. I loved it as well. So this stage is, like Sam alluded to, it is a clone of E3M1, at least up to a point. It is, for the first half of it, more or less, exactly like E3M1. Everything's the same. The enemies, the layout, even the pickups and the secrets. The only secret in this stage is in exactly the same place as E3M1. However, when you get halfway through, there's a change.
Yes, but before that, I read there's a change. I read after the fact. That bridge that disappears, that leads to the shotgun. Isn't the secret in the lava different?
I think you're right about that. The thing that's in the lava is different.
Yeah, because the thing that's in the lava, that wasn't the case of the first level. It's a BFG, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a rocket launcher in the first level, normally, but then in Ultraviolence, it's not actually there. And I think I read that.
One of the rocket launchers gets removed. It's either that one or the one in the secret area. I'm honestly not too certain which case it might be. But I think a rocket launcher was cruelly taken away from us.
Unduly.
So, fellas, did you fall for this?
Fall for... I loaded a few times thinking like something was wrong. But then before I even did anything, what made me realize something was up was the music's different.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big indicator because every time I reloaded it, the music didn't actually restart. Like when you restart a level, it just keeps playing the music.
Mm-hmm.
So I was constantly playing, like, wait a minute, okay, so I know this is the first level, but it's got new music, and the name actually made me think about maybe that you're teleporting back, because one of my favorite book series, the Malazan Book of the Fallen, the magic system uses these things called warrens, which are like portals into different realms. So like the idea of traveling through a warren to a different place was kind of already in my head from reading those books. So I thought maybe they're just doing something kind of weird with like some place, and maybe you're going to be jumping around from level to level or something.
See, the name just made me think of Warren Beatty. I just couldn't stop picturing Warren Beatty movies in my mind.
Well, here he is. Here's pictures on these cubes.
There he is.
There he is,
the man himself, the notorious Hollywood Lothario, Warren Beatty. He looks exactly like Beta Ray Bill.
I was confused at first. I knew it couldn't. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? This is the first level, isn't it? And I kept waiting for things to change, like for there to be more new enemies or something like in the areas, and it just kept being the same. And I'm like, I know this isn't the first level because I've got my shotgun, I've got all my guns. We didn't have any of that the first level when we played the first level, so I knew it wasn't that. I just kept waiting for something to be different. And I was so confused until finally something was different.
I apologize, viewers. My cat has chosen to awkwardly not sit on my lap, it looks like.
I don't think that's something you need to apologize for. Yeah, if anyone's watching the YouTube version of this podcast, you would have gotten a rare sneak peek of Sam's adorable kitty cat.
Our views would have just doubled, is what would have happened.
Noodle.
Noodle. Adorable.
Well, Noodle, as adorable as they might be, is Noodle as adorable as the Cyberdemon who makes an appearance in this stage?
Okay. So this Cyberdemon, like I stopped fighting him. I gave up. I was like, I shot him so many times. I got the invincibility and I literally just went blah, blah, blah in his face as much as I could. And I was like, they're fucking with me now. They're fucking with me. I thought that they made it so that this Cyberdemon couldn't be killed. And so I just like, fuck this. And I ran away.
What gun were you using?
The rocket launcher. I've shot him with the rocket launcher throughout my entire invincibility. And I was like, he's still not dead. Does it really take this long? And so I was just like, no, they're fucking with us. This is Sandy Peterson being a funny ha-ha man. And I'm out of here. I will not play your game, Sandy Peterson. And I left.
I shot him twice with the BFG and then a bunch of rockets. But I had invincibility, so I just stood there and just hammered on the mouse button. It's like, here's a practice, is basically what it felt like, because they had so many rockets in there.
Yeah. I didn't see the invincibility power up at first, so I was trying to kill him legit by just dodging around the poles. And after I died like probably 7 times, I finally noticed the invincibility power up, and that made it a lot easier. Well, Sandy Peterson is a notorious funny haha man, but it is just a normal Cyberdemon, and he dies in the normal fashion.
I believe you. I didn't see it in person. I saw it in the video here. I saw Big Mac Davis do it. But you know what like made me think it even more? There's the BFG. All the rockets there. Like so many rockets made me think like this is a troll. They want us to use all these rockets and waste them on a Cyberdemon that can't be killed. And then I left.
It's like, I'm not playing your game, Sandy.
Basically, I was like, I know you're having a laugh at my expense.
Oh, he has a laugh at our expense, but it's not that part. It's the part that Mr. Mac Davis is playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he also has a laugh at our expense due to the fact that he is the chosen people. He's accepted the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And while we are all languishing in purgatory, he will be God of his own planet in the afterlife.
I like to think that if you're a Mormon, like there's like hints to all the trolling parts that you would only get if you were Mormon.
They're all references to Mormon hell.
Oh yeah, so like everyone that's Mormon like never gets caught in the traps.
Actually though, I've read Mormon hell is pretty nice. Like
really?
You only get tortured if you were the worst possible sinner. Like only like Hitler and maybe like Woodrow Wilson are being tortured in hell. Everybody else just goes to like basically purgatory, where they just have to like study the Bible and learn how to be better people, and then eventually they get I don't know, some kind of reward. I don't think they get to be God of their own planet. I think that's only for true blue gold star Mormons, but they probably get something nice.
I mean,
card carrying.
That's not a bad deal. If I'm going to get suckered by a religion, I want to be. That sounds pretty good.
As long as you don't rape babies, you just go to community college.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Mormonism.
You're sounding not too bad right now.
It's a living. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the structure of this stage. So you go to the end, straight shot to the end. It's pretty much a one-way stage, very short stage. You get to the end where the exit was originally. You press the exit button, and then some walls descend, and guess who it is? Knock, knock, ring, ring. It's the Cyberdemon. And he's out for blood. Fortunately, he's not too tough if unless you're Aaron, I suppose.
All right, dickhead. Whatever.
Unless you're impatient.
Whatever. I didn't die 7 times to him. I said, fuck you, I'm out.
That's
true.
But
I think it's better. I think Andy had a better run since he actually beat him and tried to.
Well, I think we can agree that we both suck at video games, but and that Big Mac Davis makes us look like little baby children. However, the Cyberdemon, just as imposing as he was when we first met him back in E2M8, and this is the last time we would see him in the original Doom. He does show up again in episode 4, the apocryphal episode. Spoilers. But this would be the only time you see him in episode 3. So, and you may not even see him at all if you didn't find the devilishly well hidden secret exit on Mount Erebus.
Yeah,
but
maybe just a one-time boss.
And I had it spoiled for me. I knew he was going to show up here and kind of what the conceit of this level was. But even so, when those walls lower and the Cyberdemon starts stomping out, it gets your blood pumping.
Oh yeah, he's a big boy. He's a tough fucking enemy.
I think it's really interesting that they hide technically the most interesting level behind such a bullshitty secret.
Yep.
The things that this level was like way ahead of its time, and like the way, like obviously they just had doors that disappeared and things, but like it seemed like some parts were completely replaced. I don't know if they just loaded them in once you trigger something, but it made me think just about like they must have really been like how big of a leap like this level must have been like when people were playing, like how it must have just blown their minds, like in the way it just morphs a level that you've already done. And I wonder how much of this was technically in the first level, but they just didn't activate it to save space. Like think about like they load in a couple extra little bits. And technically, they don't have to put a whole extra level in to the game's like memory.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe it's the same thing, except they flip a toggle and it changes the level state.
If you like clip through the walls in that first level, if it's all behind there still or not.
Yeah,
but I was very impressed with it. That's why I was just having a blast with this level. It's just such clever game design. I was not expecting something like this.
I agree. So after you defeat the Cyberdemon, basically you turn around and do the level in reverse. But now passages that weren't there before have opened up. There's more enemies. There's more secrets to find. And at the end, when you get back to the start, the original start of the level, there's a bunch of extra stuff there, or a rather big optional area. Not optional, but a new area that wasn't there before. So like you were saying, Sam, such a creative and inventive idea. I was trying to think of other examples of games that have done this, where they take the first level or an early level and then make you do it again later in the game, but it's like a souped up version that has hidden stuff in it that wasn't there before. I can think of a few examples, like from certain Mario games, like Mario Galaxy does that, and I think Kirby 64 does that. In the Super Mario World, the level that you see in the title screen, you eventually get to play that level. That's not really the same thing, but this is maybe the first time that a game did this kind of trope.
It might be. I think other games, I can't think of any specifics, unfortunately, have done similar things where your character's kind of going crazy, and like you'll go in somewhere and when you turn around, it's completely different behind you. Yeah. And I was also thinking about they've technically have done this in earlier levels, but it was always you would go somewhere, and when you came back, a wall would open. You would see it happen and things would come out. This time they just do it behind the scenes, behind the curtains. and the what's behind the doors are so big that it really makes it feel like the level is changing as you're going through it. So it's like a small change, but it really has a huge impact, I think, on gameplay.
I wonder if, like, if we look at the map screen here, they appear to be two different locations, but do you think that's just a red herring and that we've actually returned to the first area and are re-exploring it in our travels?
I think partially, like it's hard for me to separate. It's trying to think about why they would, why would they call it warrens, right? So they're probably referencing like rabbit warrens, and like you go in like a hole here, and it can lead out over like whack-a-mole or something. So I was trying to think of it that way, but it's really hard for me to detach the term of warrens from the Malazan books. So it makes me think, because they use them. They're not just portals to get magic from, but like the Empire actually travels through there, so they can actually access the warrens from like and teleport basically. But they open it up, they go through, they walk a certain amount of distance, and they open another one up, and now they're like across the continent. So it's kind of seems like that maybe that you're like teleporting around within the level, and that maybe it's on another part of the map, but maybe it's like the first part is that first level, but then you're actually going to another part where like the new walls open up, and it's like two realities kind of stitched together. You're kind of going in between them, and when you beat the level, you're over here.
Now, see, for me, it made me think of the classic Warren Beatty movie, The Parallax View. All of these secret doors represent the secret knowledge that Warren is unlocking over the course of that film, until, of course, he uncovers too much of the conspiracy, and he's shotgunned to death just before the political candidate gets assassinated, which I think is a metaphor for Doom Guy, right? Going around with his shotgun. He can't tell if he's furthering the conspiracy or hindering it.
So what you're saying is Doom Guy is Warren Beatty.
Doom Guy is Warren Beatty.
Is what you're saying.
The laziest man in Hollywood. He makes a movie every like 15 years.
That's Warren Beatty money. He didn't need it.
He made also, this also reminds me of the classic Warren Beatty movie Dick Tracy, where it's one man waging a one-man war against the forces of the underworld. Of course, in Dick Tracy, it was the criminal underworld, and in this game, it's the literal satanic underworld.
And he had a sweet Tommy gun instead of the shotgun. Why haven't they given Doom Guy the drum roll shotgun?
That would be dude, like a
the typewriter?
Tommy gun, or the Tommy gun I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking sweet.
I bet there's I forgot what they call them in the community, but like a mod where that's Dick Tracy. I bet there's one out there.
Just shooting a bunch of Dustin Hoffman flat tops or mumble mouths or whatever.
Al Pacino as Big Boy. Dick Tracy.
What a weird movie.
Very weird.
Strange.
Madonna's in it too, I think.
Yeah, Madonna's in it. She's like I don't know.
Lips. Isn't her name
something
Lips?
like that.
Were they like trying to have their own Batman or something? Like
they were. It was kind of around the same time, and they were trying to capture that same feel.
Comic books. What comic books people like?
But
Dick Tracy. We can't.
And it just seemed
Dick Tracy.
It's a very surreal movie to watch. I enjoy it. I love that it exists. But what the fuck were they thinking?
Yeah, dude, it's a serious what were they thinking?
Yeah.
I watched it when I was a kid and enjoyed it, and I haven't seen it in many years. But thinking back on it, I just have these images in my head of just the weirdest stuff, and I just have to wonder who thought this was a good idea. Making a big budget Dick Tracy movie starring Warren Beatty and Al Pacino. And
they were marketing it to kids because they had action figures. Mm-hmm. I had action figures of them as kids.
Everything was marketed to kids back then. They had alien action figures. And
I always wanted that Terminator 2 kit that you could like injection mold the skin onto the Terminator.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that was pretty cool.
Dick Tracy seems, in my head, kind of like a companion piece to The Shadow.
Yeah. That's another really, at least that one... That one, I think, nailed its source material a little better.
Yeah,
and it was, and it had more. It wasn't really a comic book. There was comic book adaptations, but it was just a radio play, starring Orson Welles actually.
Oh.
In the beginning as the Shadow. But
who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
I feel like they were trying to do a more like a little like in between Batman and like Indiana Jones, because it makes me feel like it reminds me of Indiana Jones more.
But similarly, in that it's based on an ancient property that no one had heard of in like 50 years, and they made a weird, surreal action movie marketed at kids.
It's strange. I had lots of toys from that.
I had a lunchbox. Yeah.
But
all right. Well, let's get back to Warren's. Not Warren's Beatty, although I'm sure we'll talk about him again before this is over. But I wanted to mention what happens at the end of this stage. So as you're making your way through, there's a few side areas. Nothing big changes. I mean, there's some extra cacos, some extra specters, some lost souls, things like that. But then when we get to the end, the starting area, this big open area with all the dead trees, there is another like hallway that's opened in the distance that you walk towards. And as you walk towards it, you walk into an invisible teleporter that puts you in this kind of dark area. And this, I think, is probably the titular Warrens. Like Sam was saying, it's like underground. There's different tunnels going everywhere. And you're sort of like, it's like you've snuck up on these 3 Caco demons who are facing the other way from you. And then there's 2 hallways, and down each of the hallways is a fuck ton of zombie guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the only reasonable choice is BFG, just all the way.
I panicked and tried to run to one of the ends to get like, that's where I died in this level. Was doing
Sam.
That.
I succeeded where you failed.
Well, I
have fucked myself for the next level.
Oh no! Okay.
I am so on the verge of death. I think we have to replay this level before doing the next one, so I have more health.
I got down and had maybe 26 life, and then I was just trying to peek out and shoot no, I just died. So I had to restart this one for sure. And I don't think I used the BFG, but I think I got in a corner and I got into one of the little alcoves and pulled out my chain gun actually, because that'll stun anything from really shooting you, and killed the Caco demons. And then I maybe I did use fired off one BFG to take out a whole group of the shotgun guys.
Well, the chain gun will make pretty short work of the zombie troopers. But once you've dealt with all of them and the 3 Cacos, the red key is sitting at the end of one of the hallways, just a lone red skull. When you pick it up, a door lowers and a Baron of Hell stomps out at you. And once you deal with him, there's some plasma ammo to pick up. And once you pick that up, another door opens, revealing 3 more Barons of Hell.
I never even knew a Baron of Hell was there. Watching this video here, I never even knew that they were there. I grabbed it and I turned around and ran again. Like,
Well, Big Mac Davis knows to make liberal use of the BFG in this section. I think every single enemy, all the shotgunners, all the Cacos, all the Barons, he deals with them with the BFG. And what better place to make use of it than face to face with 3 Barons of Hell?
Mm-hmm.
I think I took them out with my rocket launcher. I'm pretty good at weaving that around. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, oh God, oh fuck, oh geez.
God, oh fuck, oh geez. Yeah, basically the theme of this level.
Yeah, rocket launcher definitely works in a pinch, but Big Mac demonstrates that he knows. He doesn't really talk about it, but he clearly has some intuitive understanding of how the mechanics of the BFG are working, because he knows to fire it and then get right in the face of whatever enemy he's fighting. Because I was just going to say, as we've discussed previously, when you fire the BFG, there's 40 invisible tracers that emanate from Doom Guy. And what you want to do is get right in something's face and let all 40 of those tracers hit whatever you're fighting.
He did fail to kill one Baron of Hell using the BFG, though, and I was like, it's not just me.
He's slipping in his old age.
That's right. All right. Well, that's about it for Warren's. It's not a very long stage. It's a very interesting one and very kind of densely packed as you're retracing your steps. We fought a Cyberdemon. It seems like a big deal.
Yeah, they fit a lot into this short level.
But all in all, not a super long stage, although definitely a very fascinating and a very unique one. Fellas, do you have any final thoughts on the Warrens?
It was, I mean, the only thing that they could have done to improve it was make it easier to find. I think it's easy to look up a guide or whatever now, but people would have been missing. I think a lot of people probably missed out on a really cool level.
Yeah, but like you were talking about last episode, those legends, they add to the mystique. Like it's like you can't even get to that level. And then we're like, no, you can. And there's a fuck ton of enemies and a Cyberdemon on the other side.
Imagine. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's fucking cool right there. Like we don't have that anymore. Now you can find the answer to everything always. But those schoolyard rumors they were something else back then. So many of them were fake. And then like this one would be real, and people could be like, I saw it, I seen it with my own eyes. Like Jimmy, listen to me.
Like the classic Pokemon urban legend where you had to get the strength TM and use it at the SSN to move the truck so you can find Mew.
And also, I think they probably knew that when they were making this. So it's, like to make it the first level again. Imagine finally getting down there and going through as a kid and be like, what the fuck? I'm just back at the first level. Oh, fuck this game. God, this game sucks.
Yeah.
That's
my game must be glitching because the music changed.
What's cool? I got my shotgun on the first level, but fuck this.
Yeah, there was a special feeling like back then about like trading bits of info with your friends, or maybe you could find an Electronic Gaming Monthly on the magazine rack at the store and like flip through it real quick before your mom made you leave. Just grabbing any little tidbit of information you could find. And games don't really have that today. Dark Souls kind of, like with the leaving hints kind of system, you sort of get that a little bit, although you could just look up everything if you wanted to. And I remember when Final Fantasy XII came out and Square did that stupid bullshit with the Zodiac Spear. And they said the reason they did it was like, oh, we want to recapture that sense of like, a really like obscure secret that people have to trade little bits of information to find. But like the way it worked was it was the strongest weapon in the game, and you could only get it very late in the game in an optional dungeon, and it would only appear if you had chosen not to open 4 specific treasure chests, which are not labeled or set apart from the other ones in any way. 4 chests that are in totally different parts of the map that you would never have any idea. Like you would just open them. Why wouldn't you open a treasure chest?
Well, that's some like PT shit, right? That's some Hideo Kojima shit right there. Cause like
some Kojimbo stuff.
Yeah. Like I remember I haven't played PT. I didn't play PT, but I was listening to a podcast. I think it was How to Get This Get Played or something, and they were talking about how like in order to trigger certain things, you have to do just seemingly random stuff. Like, I can't remember, they were like, wait till the phone rings 3 times, then answer it. Not 4, not 2, or whatever, and shit like that to open it. And people ate that up. So, like, why couldn't, was it Konami that you were just talking about?
Square
Enix. That was Hironobu Sakaguchi, who I don't think he was even at Square when they made 12. Was he? Had he left by
It was the
point?
guy who made Tactics and all the Evilise stuff. He was the one who did about half of it, and then for some reason he couldn't finish it, and they had to bring someone else on. So it's that's why like the game feels a little weird, like the characters aren't as developed.
It's a good thing that Square Enix has never had that problem with any of their subsequent Final Fantasy games.
All I'm going to say is that I appreciate the effort. Like I appreciate them trying to recreate a little bit of that magic because it's so rare.
But the problem is that it's the best weapon in the game.
Not saying there's no problem.
and if only if it wasn't like you open a chest and you can never get it. It's like if they made it more like, you talk to do this side quest, but there's a secret way that you can do it this other way. Like just not make it like completely, oh, you got a potion. Sorry. It doesn't even matter if you don't open the other ones. You're completely fucked.
You don't need it to finish the game, I assume.
No. But you don't understand though, Aaron. Like there's a precedent. There's a precedent for getting the ultimate weapon in the Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
And usually every game has a big long optional quest that you don't know about. Then there's no like, hey, hello, I'm the ultimate weapon guy. This is what you need to do. So what you're talking about was already in the games, and way more interesting too, and like a challenge to complete and figure out the steps of it. Not you got a Phoenix down, you cannot get it for the rest. You've played the game for 40 hours, you're fucked.
What if they had done it in a way that was like you got the ultimate weapon, but then there was also another alternate other ultimate weapon? Would that just have pissed you off still too?
Not having any indication of what was going on, keeping you from the best gear you can min-max in the game is just like totally against what those games mean.
It would be like in Doom if you couldn't get the BFG because you had picked up a random ammo box in the first stage of the first mission.
Yes, exactly.
Fair enough.
Or like, sorry, you don't get to fight a Cyberdemon because you killed the very first soldier and he was still human.
Yeah.
You know, no, that's even more story than they would have given you. But luckily, it doesn't matter.
I hear you. I recognize your pain, gentlemen.
It doesn't matter because they fixed it. The remake, the Zodiac version, that's no longer there. You can still get the weapon. It's just not random chance anymore. And everything about that game is better than the original. So there's no reason to play the original anymore.
Fucking bury it with E.T.
Yeah. Yeah. In Alamogordo, New Mexico.
That's right.
All right, fellas. Well, that'll do it for the Warrens. I'll give my final thoughts. I loved it. Obviously, it's a great stage. Very fun, unique, trailblazing in the sense that it took a stage we've already seen and remixed it in a fun way. Maybe one of the first like mods, although it was an internal mod. But anyway, good stage. That's it for the Warrens. Next time, we'll be playing through the stage Limbo, also known as the Gate to Limbo. And that is E3M7. I had to think about it, but I'm pretty sure it's 7. All right. Well, there are so many other things that I want to talk about with you boys this week. First of all, a little tidbit. I was watching Jeopardy the other day, and what did they have a question about but the HMS Erebus and the HMS Terror?
Oh, topical for us.
We're operating the lathe of heaven. Everything we say becomes reality.
So you got the question right.
Of course, yeah.
All right, good man.
It was about the show, The Terror, and the question was something like, this show is based on an expedition from the HMS Erebus and this vessel. And the answer was the Terror.
You're welcome, Andy.
and you're welcome, Alex Trebek.
Yes. Rip.
We'll see you in hell.
That episode was probably recorded in March or something.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I feel like we reverse engineered it. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about of greater importance, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was an update to the Nintendo Switch firmware recently, and they added a new little appy type thing. It goes on the bottom where all the circles are with like settings and share and things like that. There's a new one just for Nintendo Switch Online.
Mm-hmm.
When you click on it, it takes you to a unique application or platform or whatever you want to call it, just for Nintendo Switch Online, that shows you like details on all the games, like exclusive things like Tetris 99 that you can play online. And also it has a little thing for all the virtual console stuff like the SNES and NES games, and it has them organized in release date, and you can view all of them, all like both consoles, all in chronological order and scroll through them. And it gives you little details on them, and you can launch the game straight from that. So the thinking on this from people on Twitter is that Nintendo seems to be gearing up to drop either a bunch more games or a whole other console.
Yeah, I still think a Switch Pro is in the future.
Well,
I don't know if they'll call it that, but like a similar, similar machine but more powerful.
They'll call it the new Nintendo Switch XL 3D Mario edition
with
Yellow
with
Pikachu
new funky
style.
mode.
Yeah,
We
with
play.
new funky mode.
Well, but not only new hardware, but a new virtual console in addition to the NES and SNES. People are thinking they're making it so streamlined and organized like this because they're getting ready to drop a new classic console onto the Switch?
I mean,
64. You thinking?
They got to
know.
do something to compete with these new consoles that are coming out, the new generation. Because I mean, if they don't have something, really meaty to like keep attention on them somewhat. I mean, I know they're doing fine.
Yeah,
I'm aware of this.
They're selling crazy amounts of consoles.
I know they're doing fine, but more people are going to get their hands on PlayStation, word of mouth. I think that things are going to grow beyond that, PlayStations and Xboxes and stuff. And I think that Nintendo is wise to start making some changes to keep people enticed.
I would agree.
Game passes and everything.
They are wise to continue to release software in the hopes of selling more software and hardware.
Yeah.
Man, if they were really, now this will never happen, maybe in 30 years for Nintendo, but it'd be really cool if they would implement like cloud gaming, like the Stadia technology for the virtual console stuff.
Uh-huh.
So imagine if you didn't have to take up storage space, you could just connect to a Wi-Fi anywhere and then like on their servers play their older games, which would be easier to control maybe because they're not so graphically intensive. It might work a little better with the kind of cloud streaming. Then you could have like every game instantly accessible over the internet.
Yeah. Wasn't Google's console going to be something like that?
Yeah, that's the Stadia.
Yeah.
And they've done it. The technology it's fine, as long as you're not, if you've got a stable connection. I'm saying it's an option because like PlayStation Now, like you could stream it or you could download it. Like you could have the option. But for such like a large catalog, and it would work for Japan because Japan has a lot of internet access, like in Tokyo and stuff, like everywhere. So you could like take your Switch and then do that and save some money and space. This would be cool.
It's a real country where they've invested in infrastructure, unlike the dog shit country that we live in.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you this, fellas, what other classic console do you think they should add to the Switch?
I would love to see some handheld, like Game Boy, DS, because I always wanted DS games on the Wii U because you could have the TV as the top screen and the bottom screen be the controller. I don't know if they could really do that with the Switch because I think they really have the portable kind of idea with it. But I would love that. There's a ton of DS games that I would love to play on my TV.
You can't use the TV with it not in docked mode, so like
yeah. Well, I know
you're right.
Well,
I'm talking about yeah. I mean, I'm just like maybe you could split the screen, but there's so many things that wouldn't work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need the touchscreen for a lot of them too. A lot of those DS games.
The DS simulator works really well with the mouse for that. Yeah, so that's what I played most of the games I've missed. And they've
ported a lot of DS games, like the Phoenix Wright games and the Professor Layton games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think handheld is the one. I think original Game Boy / Game Boy Color is the most likely candidate.
Probably, yeah. I would not be surprised because they could easily do just like they did on what was it, the Game Boy Advance. We could like flip through the different color palettes for the original Game Boy games. They could just redo that.
Like Super Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would really do you think people would accept that, or well, obviously they accept it, but do you think that they would be disappointed that it wasn't a Nintendo 64?
I think people would be disappointed because
no matter what,
no one can ever be satisfied. They're just always going to be angry and entitled about something. But I don't think N64 is going to happen because Nintendo's realized they can just sell those. Like they're selling Mario 64 right now as part of that package.
That's true.
And the other thing is, I'm not sure it would be worth it for them because there aren't that many first-party Nintendo games for N64. And I'm not sure what other stuff they could license for it either. Like if you try to think of like all the good games Nintendo published on N64, a huge amount of them are rare games, which they don't have the rights to anymore.
And now since they've already done Mario 3D, like the 3D All-Stars, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we got Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask physical game like combo. Now that they can prove that they can get the emulator to work on the Switch, I would think they would just sell that combo pack.
That's what I think too.
Mm-hmm.
And next year is, I think, Zelda's 35th anniversary. So everyone thinks they're going to do the same thing they did with Mario.
So yeah, I think if they were going to add a console, since they already have those two, I mean, I don't see why they would jump again? You make a great point. Why give you a subscription service for games that they feel like they can make money on?
Yeah.
Unless they're going to really change it up and really kind of go the Xbox Game Pass route. I mean, Sony jumped on that, and the PlayStation Network version is really good. There are some I think it's a better deal than the Xbox Game Pass because, while Xbox Game Pass is good, there's like just a small handful of like big AAA games on there, and there's a lot of
Jim Sterling has logged on.
There's a lot of good stuff, but it's not, there's Halo Master Chief, there's a handful of Gears of War, I think Control's actually being put on later, but every single fucking game on that PlayStation 1 was like, it's like the top 10 best hits that PS4 had. Like God of War, Red Dead 2, Uncharted 4, they're all on there.
It's pretty tight. Nintendo's done the most lame bullshit Diet Coke Zero version of that, and if you're on Nintendo Switch Online, they will from time to time do like a free like 2-week trial. They did it for like ARMS and for Pokken Tournament and a few other games. It's always multiplayer games, and it's like it's the full game, but it's just like a 2-week trial period.
And if you think about it, this is like, if this we'll call it meta for the consoles does not work in Nintendo's favor because of they have a lot of versions of it, but they only have a handful of like Nintendo IPs, right? Like a Nintendo of America game, whereas Sony and Xbox have made a bunch of like crazy amount of, this is a Sony game, and this is a Microsoft game.
Well, I don't know, because they're like Nintendo doesn't necessarily use all their IPs.
I was going to say
they have dozens of them that
I was
going to
say
stock and barrel.
They're sitting on so many that they're just not doing anything with. Like there's some stuff that's in development that's been in development hell forever, like Metroid Prime 4.
I'm not talking about stuff they can make. I just mean like stuff in their repertoire that they could do a Game Pass version of that they wouldn't have to license from another studio.
I guess if they wanted to dip into like GameCube and emulate a bunch of GameCube games that were first party or like Wii U games, they could do that. I don't know. It's Nintendo's so weird though. They like they're always like a little bit ahead of the curve. Like the Virtual Console, they were the first company to do that. Then everyone else started doing it, and they're like, "All right, we don't want to do it anymore. We're going to do something different now." They started doing the Nintendo Switch Online thing, which was like a subscription thing. But it's not like it's not like with other subscription things where stuff will, like Netflix, or whatever, where it's like you'll have this for a while and then they lose the rights or whatever. They have deals set up where it's like in perpetuity forever, which is probably why they can't get as many third-party games on there. But I don't know. It works for what it is. I'm happy with it.
I would love it if they did what like Xbox Live does. Where you get two games a month. There's these 2 games. Bam, there it is. Like for $20, like the Super Nintendo and Nintendo are great and all, but I would love it if they've made it so that like more modern games got at your disposal for the price you're paying. And I know it's less than everybody else, a lot less than everybody else, but still, like I'm kind of bored with the Super Nintendo and Nintendo games. Like
the model you're talking about, Aaron, is probably going to go away. Like the PS, where it's like right now, it used to be, you subscribe and you get 2 games a month that as long as you claim them, you'll have as long as you're subscribed.
Right.
That's probably not going to happen. They're going to go the Xbox Game Pass route where here's more games, but they pull them out every once in a while and replace them with other ones.
Well, doesn't Xbox Game Pass also include Xbox Live?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that they're leaning really hard into that model, and they're probably, I would assume they would weed out the old model.
Oh, no doubt.
Just kind of make Xbox Game Pass what Xbox Live, like that would be the new kind of thing going forward. Because it's a huge deal. I mean, I subscribe to it for PC games, and there's tons of stuff. I don't play it all the time, but I don't turn the sub off, just like my Netflix account. So it's just kind of like what was it GameFly was, where you could like rent, like just get discs in the mail, but like what like Netflix did, it's what that's become. So like right now, I could play the first 4 Halo games, Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, Tetris Effect, Celeste, And a bunch. I won't go into all the games.
Yeah.
But like, just click them, download, boom.
Yeah. No,
it's basically what Nintendo's doing, except with games that were made in the 1980s.
Yeah, I think they should expand into their entire backlog, but I don't think they will. I don't
think that they will either, but I wish that they would.
I'd love to be surprised. I'd love it if they came out with N64 for Switch Online, but I think Game Boy's more likely. And honestly, I kind of want Game Boy more. I just feel like
makes more sense.
More bang for your buck. There's so many games, including Aaron's favorite game, Super Mario Land.
You're not going to get Link's Awakening, though.
2, sorry. Super Mario Land 2 is the superior game.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying Aaron's favorite
I don't like it.
Game Super Mario Land.
But it being the amalgamation of their consoles and mobile devices, it's gotta be something Game Boy related, because they've already done their big console nostalgia hits. They gotta do they're gonna get Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow. Like, imagine those people are gonna lose their fucking minds if
you could play Pokemon Red and Blue and like trade through online somehow, probably not. That
probably won't happen, because they're just like, fuck you. It's there, leave me alone.
Yeah. They're not going to do that. They're not going to put any Pokemon games on there, because that would eat into their Eevee and Pikachu sales, their Let's Go's sales.
I don't think so. Not if it's like the original Game Boy games. I don't think.
Yeah, but those are the original Game Boy games.
They're remakes, and they're not. It's the nostalgia hit. Like
it hits so good.
I'll pay $20 more to play those games, even though I could probably emulate them or have them already on a different system. I think that's what they should do. Is like Game Boy Color, like just go through the Game Boys to where they can't do it anymore, and then if they were smart, 64 GameCube. But I just see them doing remasters and re-releases on physical copies. The limited release, this test they did with the Mario 3D All-Stars, that's how we're going to get the 3D releases again.
People taught them they can get away with it again.
And they're going to be limited edition, but I think that's probably what will happen.
And you know what? Mr. Yamauchi from his throne in hell is just grinning from ear to ear.
Mr. Yamauchi was there for wasn't he there for why can't I think of it? The Virtual Console. Wasn't he there for that?
He was, yeah. He was still alive. That was towards the end of his life. Yeah. And I'm sure he was thrilled by it. Because at that time, he was one of the richest men in Japan. He was in like the top 10 richest men in all of Japan during the Switch, or during the Wii era. And then I think I don't know, I'm not sure if they had started to crash when he died or not, but I think it was during that time when he sadly passed away after having completely dominated the planet and making video games what they are today.
The Virtual Console was amazing. It's such a good idea.
All right. Well, we'll check back in with this story as it develops. Hopefully we'll hear some more rumors about that soon. But another topic of interest that I wanted to bring up with you fellas, did you see the G4 TV Thanksgiving reunion?
I did, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so great. But I think they're out of their fucking minds. That says like here's the thing. If they want to do anything other than like a YouTube channel, they're fucking bonkers. If they think they can, like, I saw G4 on network TV, like, are you fucking out of your mind? Who the hell is going to watch that? Nobody. The people who watched it before and the kids, the new people now, no one's watching TV. No one's going to get a cable subscription for that.
They had some like crack smoking executive, like marketing guy, like talking in papers being like, they were like, is it going to be TV, online, social media? He was like, everything. It's going to be everything. It's going to be on TV. It's going to be on Instagram. It's going to be on TikTok. It's going to be on Twitch.
I mean, if they do it on a YouTube like network, let's say like, like a channel, like what do they call it? Like network, right? On YouTube, that's like an umbrella company that has different channels. And like the X-Play channel, Attack the Show channel, all their old stuff, but just like a YouTube once a week, once a month thing. I think it's got a really good chance of being successful, maybe for a period of time. But dude, they can't. There's no other way. There's no other way, because they actually in 2014. Pereira actually had a spin-off, I guess you call it, of Attack of the Show on Twitch called The Attack. And it was almost the same exact format. And it was kind of popular for about a year, but it did not have any legs underneath. It was a little early, I think.
Now, do you think that they will get the original hosts back, or was this just a one-off Thanksgiving special?
I hope they're back in some capacity. I know the wrestler guy is like, he's somehow the host of something. He's going to be part of it. They weren't really clear on that in any way, but I hope to God at least. I think Pereira is probably 100% on board, and Adam Sessler. I think Morgan Webb, she was like bringing up some dark shit, alluding to that, and like you saw her like she was like leaning away from Adam in certain shots. I think Olivia Munn, maybe because her film career is kind of.
Well, didn't Munn and Pereira have a big falling out behind the scenes or something?
I don't know. I know they like, joked about it, but like
they were joking about it. But I've read and like seen interviews where they kind of say like, yeah, just our relationship no longer was letting us do the show in the way we wanted to, and you know, there's some hint that like they had a falling out.
I don't think they would. I could see Sessler and someone else doing X-Play. I see Pereira producing. But not being a part of, other than maybe like some sketches on Attack of the Show, not being a host. I see Olivia Munn maybe doing something like some kind of like other thing. She's in a weird like limbo where like she's probably circling to see if it's successful and then go in.
Yeah.
Her career like has been all over the place.
I know she did like she was in Magic Mike. That's a great movie. She's great in it. And then she
was in the really shitty Apocalypse X-Men movie.
Yeah, she picked the wrong superhero movie to go into. Like I feel like I read at the time that she had a chance to get into like Justice League or one of the other like big Marvel movies, and she picked X-Men, and it was like, ooh, you backed the wrong dice on that one.
But I mean. I know the reason I know that I feel that Pereira and Sessler are on board 100% is because they did all those commercials.
Yeah.
There's like 3 commercials that just made me laugh. I felt stupid, but it was like, it made me laugh. It's like, man, this is totally old X-Play. This old G4, you know.
Yeah, it's very dumb, but in a charming way.
Yeah. And
also, what else are they doing right now?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I followed Sessler for a while. He had like his own review site, but then it kind of petered off and went nowhere. And like I said, I watched The Attack when it was on Twitch for a little while. But I just think now is a good time to come back with a YouTube channel. But no more hype than they've already done.
Yeah,
if they hype it even more, they're just gonna fucking crash.
They'll lose their momentum, man. What are you talking about? You gotta aim for the stars, and at least you'll land on the moon or whatever it is.
They've hyped it enough. Now they need to deliver something.
Yeah. Don't be like Mighty Number 9, where you just are like announcing more and more shows and features, and then none of it ever comes out.
They just put out what they need to do is just put out they should have launched a Kickstarter with this video detailing their plan on what they were doing and what they needed to get the show off the road, and then start a YouTube channel that's like you know, Monday X-Play, Wednesday Attack of the Show, Friday whatever. Not cheat. No one cared about the cheater girl. Like, fuck you, girl. Get the fuck out. She even knew she wasn't like, why the fuck am I at this table?
Oh, poor cheat girl.
She was only on there because she joined, like, when people started leaving Attack of the Show, they're like, all right, come on, you can be on it now.
Well, I gotta say this. I did not recognize Olivia Munn at first.
She's had some work done.
Yeah, I mean, she says she didn't, but
no, she's full of shit.
I mean, look, Aaron, enable sharing so I can show this side-by-side picture. It's amazing.
Go for it.
All right. Look at this picture.
Yeah. No work. None.
And like, I'm not body shaming, you know, it's like whatever, but she looks very different, almost not recognizable.
I mean,
it's not bad work, but it's definitely some work's been done.
How long has it been between those two pictures?
10 years, maybe?
Yeah, at least 10 years.
I can change in 10 years. I mean, I'm not saying she didn't. I'm not saying she did.
Yeah,
a lot can change in 10 years.
A lot of nose bones can come out of there in 10 years.
Nose bones can come out of
there. Your lips can get bigger over the course of 10 years. All of your freckles can go away.
You know what really bothered me more than that? Where it was the fact that whatever the fuck happened to Pereira's eyebrows that made him so fucking light that it looked like he had no eyebrows. I was like, is he fucking like heroin addict or something now? Something looked wrong. And I realized it was just his eyebrows were just really light. And so it made his eyes look real sunken in because he's got such a broad forehead.
Sessler looks really different too. Like he's got the big beard now and he's all bald. His face is so red. It's like all he does is drink and yell.
I'm used to that because he got that way right after he left X-Play, was like shaved his head and had a beard like that.
Mm-hmm. He was always like, you could tell he was just like narrowly fending off baldness the whole time he was on X-Play. It was like his hairline was like so precarious and did all this spiky stuff to distract from it.
But as a whole, I really liked the whole episode. It felt very, very like of the time, and even the host being kind of weird, and the whole they have this whole like he's a fan that's putting them in his collection thing at the end.
Yeah,
it was real silly.
Ron Funches.
Yeah. I liked it. I was happy, and I hope they can make it work because I would love for X-Play at least to come back. Yeah. I was always like, I would watch Attack of the Show and was on, but I wouldn't, oh God, it's Attack of the Show. Time to turn on G4.
Yeah. As long as there's no Ninja Warrior. I mean, I like Ninja Warrior, but it killed the network when they just started showing that 24/7.
It's when they basically forgot why they existed. And the people who ran the network were like, well, it's turning down a little bit, so we need to put some movies on her. And like they started putting shit that had nothing to do with games on, and then it became like Cheaters, Ninja Warrior, and like sci-fi movie, like shark movies and shit. And then that's why no one watched it anymore.
Yeah, it just became Spike TV.
Yeah.
Well, whether or not it actually comes back, it was fun to see them all reunited. And yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if anyone really cares about it besides us and people our same age, but it would be fun if it came back in some form.
I think if it came back, the best we could hope for would be, maybe a year. It would peter out unless they really worked hard, because there's so many review YouTube channel stuff. Like lean hard in the first, 6 months on nostalgia, but then like establish like, here we are, we're actually taking it serious, let's move forward. Because it's like, does anyone ever remember or talk about the Mystery Science Theater reboot anymore? Like it was great the first couple that came out. They did a couple seasons and now no one cares anymore.
Yeah.
They got their fix, they membered, and they moved on.
Yeah.
I would be super grateful for another year of X-Play if I got it, but if we did get it, I wouldn't be holding my breath that it like would be around for as long. But I'd be happy for that little bit.
Aaron, what are your thoughts about all this?
I mean, I don't really expect it to do anything. I mean, granted, I have a pretty busy life, so I haven't been able to hang out on the internet as much as, I did love to do, but the little bit that I've been in there, I haven't seen anybody really talking about it anywhere. And that might be fine. That might be not something they need a lot of chatter for what they're trying to do. And, I wish them well. I appreciate what they're trying to do, but I personally don't care about it. So, I mean, I would be surprised if it gains any sort of traction, any sort of big following. Because guys our age are busy these days, so we'll see how it goes.
The video only has, I'm saying only, but it's got 248,000 views, but it's been out for a week. There is a video from 5 years ago of a random Attack of the Show episode that has almost the same amount of views. So we'll see.
We'll see.
I hope they come back with or without different looking Olivia Munn. She's still just as charming, no matter which way. And she looks good now, I'm just saying, very different. And Adam Sessler too. But you're both beautiful, and I hope you come back to a TV or a YouTube channel near me. But fellas, what do you say we wrap it up for this week?
Sounds good.
I think we did it. Guys.
I think we did it. So next week, in about a week's time, we'll be back in your podcast feeds with E3 M7, which is entitled Limbo or The Gates to Limbo in some versions. And you can look for that very soon. Sam, what are your words of wisdom for our dear listeners?
Well, it'll make more sense now, not when this comes out, but it makes perfect sense now that, did you guys know that Aaron's birthday is exactly 1 month after my birthday, which is today, December 2nd, and his birthday is January 2nd.
Well, happy birthday to Sam.
Happy birthday to Sam.
I think that's all the words of wisdom we need there, folks. Happy birthday to our beautiful boy and lovely co-host, Sam Ingersoll. And Aaron, what do you want to say to the listeners at home today?
I want to say thank you, everybody, for listening. Please go to onestageatatime.com for more of our episodes and more links to all of our things. Please like, share, and subscribe, all that stuff. You know the deal. Do it. Thank you guys for podcasting with me. And Sam, the birthday boy, give us that sign off.
Save and continue.